Namaskar, today I, Shita Chawal,
And I, Krishika Gupta,
am going to present a skit play
on Chapter 5, The Quarrel.
Louisa May Alcott was an American novelist, short story writer, and poet, best known as the author of the novel Little Women and its sequels Little Men and Joe's Voice. She was born on 29 November 1832 and died on 6 March 1888. Some of her famous movies are Little Women, Little Men, The Inheritance, The March Sisters at Christmas, An Old-Fashioned Thanksgiving, and much more. Because of her short stories, she was also nicknamed the children's friend. It's a warm Saturday afternoon. The March sisters, Mag and Jo, are in their room getting ready to go out when their younger sister, Amy, walks in. There is an air of secrecy around Mag and Jo, which makes little Amy very curious.
Girls, where are you going?
Never you mind.
Meg, do tell me. I should think you might let me go too. I haven't got anything to do and I'm so lonely.
I can't, dear, because you aren't invited.
You can't go, Amy. So don't be a baby and whine about it.
You're going somewhere with Laurie. I know you are. I know. You're going to the theater to see the Seven Castles. It was mean not to tell me in time. I shall go too.
You can't because our seats are reserved and it isn't proper to poke yourself where you aren't wanted. Just stay where you are.
Amy sits down on the floor and begins to cry. At that moment, Laurie calls from the door. The two girls walk towards the door, leaving their sister wailing.
You will be sorry for this, Joe March. Safe you aren't.
Fiddlesticks.
The girls had a lovely time at the play, but in spite of that, Joe's pleasure has a drop of bitterness in it. The fairy queen's yellow curls reminded her of Amy and their little fight. Jo has always had a hard time controlling her fiery temper, but her anger never lasts long and she soon starts to repent. When Jo and Meg get home, Amy is sitting in the parlor reading. She never lifts her eyes from the book or asks a single question. The next day, Mag, Beth, and Amy are sitting together in the parlor. Jo runs into the room.
Has anyone seen my book?
No,
Amy, you have got it.
No, I haven't.
That's a lie.
Scold me as much as you like. You will never see your silly old book again. I burned it.
What? You wicked, wicked girl. I never can write it again. I'll never forgive you as long as I live.
Jo runs up to the attic to weep over her loss. Mrs. March walks in and hears the story.
What you did was wrong, Amy. The book had only a half dozen of fairy tales, but Jo had worked over them very patiently. She had put her whole heart into writing each of them. You must apologize to her.
You're right, mother. I will.
At tea time, Jo comes down to the dining room looking grim. It takes all of Amy's courage to walk up to her.
Please forgive me, Joe. I'm very, very sorry.
I'll never forgive you. You don't know how much you have hurt me.
Jo quickly takes her tea from the dining table and marches out of the room, not looking at Amy. Jo is still angry the next day. She can't bear the tension in the house and decides to go ice skating with Laurie. Amy runs after her. She wants to apologize and hopes Jo will be in a better mood after skating. At the river, Jo sees her coming and turns her back, ignoring her.
Lori, is the ice thick enough for skating?
It is not safe in the middle. Keep near the shore. Come, let's race.
Joe and Lori skate away, zigzagging down the river. Amy is struggling to put her skates on and has not heard Lori's warning about the ice. Lori soon vanishes round the bend of the river. Joe is just about to turn when she sees Amy skating towards the middle of the river. All at once, there is a crash of ice, a splash of water, and a cry as Amy throws up her hands and goes down. Jo tries to rush forward, but her feet seem to have no strength in them. For a second, she stands motionless. She stares at the little blue hood above the water with fear in her heart. Lorry rushes swiftly past her towards the crack in the ice.
Joe, bring a pole, quick.
Lorry is calm as he lies on the ice and holds Amy firmly by the arm. Joe drags a long pole from a fence nearby and holds it out to Amy. Together, she and Lorry get the child out. Together, they carry her back home. Later in the evening, Amy lies fast asleep, rolled up in warm blankets before a fire. Joe is pale and quiet as she watches Amy sleep.
Sure, she's safe.
Quite safe, dear. You were sensible in covering her up and getting her home quickly.
Lori did it all. Mother, if Amy would die, it would be my fault. I didn't bother to make sure Amy had heard Lori's warning about the ice. It's my horrible temper. I try to cure it, but it always breaks the worst.
Never get off tired of trying, dear, and never think it's impossible to conquer your faults, Joe.
You don't know how bad it is. Oh, mother, do help me.
I will, my child. Remember this day and promise yourself that you will do nothing like it again. We all have our faults, but we must try to improve them, even if they take all our lives.
I went to sleep angry. I won't forgive her. And today, if it hadn't been for Lori, it might have been too late. I'll never be so wicked again.
As if she heard, Amy opened her eyes and held out her arms with a smile that warmed Joe's heart. Neither said a word, but they both understood that there are always ups and downs in any relationship. Sometimes we get angry with our loved ones and quarrel. But if the person is important to us, we must find it in ourselves to understand and forgive each other.
I hope you understand the value of relationships.
Thank